Most people assume the economy reacts to what people do, that spending triggers response, that behavior causes adjustment, and that outcomes follow action. But the most stable systems do not wait for action. They shape what feels reasonable long before a decision is made. This episode is about the economy that narrows choices quietly. The shape of a decision. When people talk about choice, they imagine open space, multiple paths, equal footing, freedom to move. But most economic decisions are made inside environments that have already been shaped. Options exist, but only within boundaries that are rarely questioned. These boundaries feel natural because they are familiar. They are presented as the way things work, rather than the result of deliberate structure. Over time, the limits become invisible, and people confuse constrained choice with free choice, why options are rarely equal. Choices are not evaluated by availability alone. They are evaluated by risk, timing, and consequence. Two options may exist on paper, but only one feels survivable. Systems understand this difference. They do not need to remove options to control outcomes. They only need to make certain options costly enough that most people avoid them without being told to. Friction is guidance. Friction is often framed as inconvenience, delays, paperwork, requirements, waiting periods. But friction is not accidental. It is instructional. When friction is placed on certain paths and removed from others, behavior adjusts naturally. People follow the smooth route not because it is better, but because resistance feels unnecessary. Over time, the system trains movement without issuing directions, the quiet elimination of alternatives. Alternatives rarely disappear all at once. They become harder to access, slower to pursue, or riskier to maintain. Support fades, margins shrink, visibility decreases. Eventually, alternatives still exist, but only in theory. The system never bans them. It simply makes persistence unlikely. What remains feels inevitable, even though it was engineered gradually. Why stability feels like safety. Stability is marketed as protection. Predictable income, reliable access, known outcomes. But stability often comes at the cost of flexibility. Systems reward stability because it reduces volatility. People who prioritize stability accept narrower paths. Over time, safety becomes compliance, and compliance becomes habit. How repetition becomes belief. When the same constrained choices are repeated over years, they begin to feel correct. People stop questioning the structure and start defending it. This is not indoctrination. It is adaptation. The system does not need belief to function, but belief ensures it faces less resistance. Who benefits from narrow paths? Not everyone experiences narrowed choice in the same way. Those positioned closer to control encounter fewer constraints. They see optionality where others see obligation. This difference is structural, not moral. The system concentrates flexibility upward and distributes rigidity downward. Choice exists, but it is stratified. The cost of deviating. Deviation is not punished immediately. It is delayed. Those who step outside expected paths encounter slower responses, increased scrutiny, or subtle exclusion. This delay is important. It prevents clear cause and effect recognition. People blame themselves rather than the structure. Over time, deviation feels personally irresponsible rather than systemically discouraged. Why most people don't resist? Resistance requires energy, time, and uncertainty. When systems increase friction on alternatives, resistance becomes expensive. Most people do not submit because they agree. They comply because resistance feels disproportionate. The system does not need obedience. It only needs exhaustion. The illusion of personal failure. When outcomes are constrained, people internalize responsibility. They believe effort should have produced a different result. This belief protects the system. Structural limits remain invisible when failure feels personal. People work harder inside the same boundaries, reinforcing the system that constrained them. Seeing the frame, once the structure becomes visible, frustration changes shape. Limits are no longer experienced as moral judgment or individual inadequacy. They become informational. The system's priorities reveal themselves through what is made easy and what is made difficult. The frame, once seen, cannot be unseen. The economy that narrows. The invisible economy does not remove freedom outright. It reshapes the field in which freedom operates. Choices remain, but only within carefully maintained borders. The system does not command, it arranges. And most movement happens exactly where it was designed to go.